of the Apostles' Mediterranean cruise. Together, we'll encounter the sights of the early church like never before, with wonderful stops in Rome, Naples, Jerusalem, Athens, and more.
It's an unforgettable 15 days on 2 continents, sailing on one of the newest cruise ships, the beautiful Silhouette.
And we'll experience the magnificent Sistine Chapel, the historic Western Wall in Jerusalem, the beautiful Greek island of Santorini, and much more in luxurious accommodations over the pristine waters of the Mediterranean.
Get more information at WFIA-FM.com and click on the Footsteps of the Apostles banner.
The year was 1966. Household income was about $7,000 a year. A new home, $14,000. A new car, $2,600. Gas was 32 cents a gallon. In 66, our president was Lyndon Johnson. Miniskirts were all the rage. TV was in living color. And here in Louisville, AM 900 WFIA first signed on. Today, AM 900 joins 94.7 FM WFIA with Christian talk and teaching shows that are still safe for the whole family. Celebrating 50 years. We are Louisville's original WFIA The Spirit.
There's plenty of advice in the Bible about being a father. But tips for moms? Not so much. Dr. Tony Evans explains why as we spend 2 minutes with Tony.
In the Bible, with some exception, when he's talking to parents, he won't always mention the mother. He will mention the father. There was a cultural reason and a biblical reason. Let me give you a biblical or theological reason first, and that is that the father was always viewed by God as the representative head of the home. He was the one through whom and to whom God would speak, and his job was to transfer it to the wife and to the children. He was the representative head at home. That's why the devil wants to get rid of dads. He wants to get rid of dads so there's no representative at home, no male representative, placing extra burden on the female. So men, if you're tempted to walk out on your kids, think twice. Because the Bible says God will visit the sins of the father on the children to the 3rd and 4th generation. So when you walk out on your kids and you leave them to the dogs, you didn't just walk out on your kids, you walked out on your grandkids and your great-grandkids. And if you think this generation's bad, you haven't seen anything yet. Wait till this generation has their kids.
Learn more about how a godly man can change his wife, his family, his church, even his world. Request a copy of Dr. Evans' best-selling book, Kingdom Man, for yourself, your brother, uncle, husband, father, teenage son, or a church study group. Visit us at tonyevans.org and click on the link that says Making Kingdom Men. That's tonyevans.org. Then be sure to join us next time for 2 Minutes with Tony.
So, we've been saddled with the impossible task of telling you all the things your new WFIA app can do. Ready? Stream with the touch of a button. Go to our webpage, our Facebook, our Twitter. ShopOwlery.club with the touch of a button. Send us emails instantly. Send us voice messages instantly. Call us with one touch. Take an instant poll with one touch. Scroll through and listen to one of our podcasts. Get live feeds from Christian headlines, from daily devotionals, national ministries, and more. But we're out of time. You know, you can get it all free right now from WFIAFM.com. You're listening to Just Ask Joyce on WFIA, The Spirit.
Thank you so much for joining me today. Kevin Roberts, CPA, is with me today live in the studio. You can watch us on YouTube if you'd like. Yes, go to WFIAFM.com. Click on that little YouTube logo up in the right-hand corner, and you can just watch us right here. And also, you can download the WFIA app and stream this anywhere. I would encourage you to do that. Or you can go to WFIA-FM, catch the podcast if you've missed any part of this broadcast, all right? All right, now, Kevin, so we're addressing some tax issues today. If you have a question that you'd like to ask Kevin, he's available for you. Some of you have just joined us at the bottom of the hour. I know you're driving home right now and probably thinking about, I have not filed my taxes. You may have a question for Kevin. 571-2428 right now. 571-CHAT, because he's here. He's not at his office. We'll give his information a little bit later and let you have that for future reference. I know you're inundated right now with tax returns and people like me who procrastinate to the end. But, you know, what are some of the reasons why it might be worthwhile to wait until the end to file?
I think the best reason, the primary reason, is you're still missing some information that is going to come in that's corrected maybe, or you've been told that, hey, I'm having a corrected, 1099 investment statement, for example, that's coming out. So you wait on that information. Now, the reason I've heard most often, from the clients is I just don't want to pay until the last minute. Well,
I know. I'd rather keep my money as long as I can than give it to them.
And I certainly agree with that. But that doesn't mean you can't get it done,
right?
Earlier, and you just pay, because we always program it in that, we calculate the amount that if you owe money, the amount that you owe, and it's not really due until April 15th filing deadline. So you prepare it in March, for example, but you don't pay it until April. So that solves that problem. But that's the reason.
Get it off of your plate and have it done.
Right.
And you give your CPA a break too, by the way. So, and if you don't have a CPA and you're needing one, and Kevin, you and I were talking about, some people maybe just have come into town and they're moved, and now they're like, I don't have an established doctor, I don't have an established bank, I don't have an established CPA, I don't have those things in line yet, and so you would certainly talk to them and file an extension for them.
Yes, sure, certainly.
You might not can get to them right now.
No, we can't finish it, but we certainly file an extension. Yeah.
And guys, we've already talked about on this show that some of you like to do your own taxes. It might be worth trying a CPA just to see if you get more money back. And if you don't, then don't do it again. But I can tell you, I believe that you will, especially if they have some deductions. If it's just a kind of, they live in an apartment and they have a car, but that's about it. They don't really own anything, or probably just a short form is fine. They probably can do just a really quick one, but there's easy ways to file and return IRS. That's a free file. I don't know, you have to qualify for it, I think, and I'm not sure the qualifications, but there's that option. For just a very, very easy scenario. There's other options that we see on TV. Yeah, right. But try it. You might decide that you might like it because you might get back more. All right. This person says, I owe and I don't have all the money to pay right now. If I extend my taxes, can I buy more time? If not, are there options for payment? Well, first of all, let's get two questions. Yeah, it is. So if I extend my taxes, can I buy more time?
No. You extend your tax return, you just extend the filing.
You're supposed to go ahead and pay the estimated amount, or what?
Yeah, just estimated amount that you think you might owe, or as much as you can pay. So, first of all, the extension only covers the filing. Okay, so you extend the filing. You don't extend the payment. So that's the first question. So you really can't extend the payment. So you're going to be penalized either way. So the one thing is you can file on time or get the extension and make an estimated payment. Okay. So the more money you pay at April 15th, the less money you're going to pay in the end.
Okay. Because they'll add penalty and interest to that, right?
That's correct. Yes, that's correct. Now, the second question is, payment schedule. Yes, there's an installment agreement you can have with the IRS. There's this, you can take as long as, well, you wouldn't take as long as you want to pay, of course, but, if it's a significant amount, there's an installment agreement option, okay? There's a form you file with the IRS and you put a down payment in. Usually that's filed with the return and sometimes separate from the return, but there's an option as well. The IRS does not have to accept it. It's not automatic acceptance like an extension is an automatic acceptance.
I thought they were. What is all this hype that you hear on the radio that IRS works with you? And all? I mean, I've heard all those commercials.
Well, they want to, of course. They want to work. That's the best way for them to get money. I mean, they don't want to be antagonistic about it because they know that's not a good way for them to get their money. They're like any debt collector in that scenario,
But they can come in and seize your property.
Oh, yeah. They can. They're very, very quick if they think you're messing around with them.
Oh, yeah.
They will.
And they will. And they have every right to. And they have the authority and the power to do it,
yes, they
unfortunately.
Do. Yes, they do.
So they are somebody you don't want to play around with. That's why I like CPAs. And I like you because you have an insurance. We'll talk about that when we get back. Don't go away. 571-CHAT.
WFIA, The Spirit.
About Face Spa and Salon has a top-of-the-line product line that you can't resist. Glymed, Miriam, Moroccan Oil, Kenra, Jane Iredale, Colorproof, and more. Then, of course, their professional techs are caring and provide a personal touch you'll come to love. They're located at 1370 Veterans Parkway in Clarksville, Indiana. Call 812-288-2300 and book your appointment today. Or go to their website, aboutfacespaandsalon.com, and book online. And tell them just as Joy sent you.
Is your mower bad to the bone? You need a Big Dog mower from Southern Indiana Equipment at their new location at Exit 7 in Sellersburg. Come shop for your new Big Dog mower in their state-of-the-art showroom. Check out the Big Dog Alpha 52-inch deck with the Kawasaki engine for just $3,299. Your Big Dog mower comes with a 7-year warranty. At Southern Indiana Equipment in Sellersburg, take advantage of financing to approved buyers. Get your Big Dog Alpha 52-inch mower for just $32.99 while supplies last. At Southern Indiana Equipment in Sellersburg at Exit 7 right off I-65.
If you're one of the millions of Americans who suffers from back pain, there's new hope for relief without the use of over-the-counter pain pills. Australian Dream, makers of the popular arthritis cream, now offers a back pain cream. It's real medicine that goes on fast and provides effective relief for simple backache. Australian Dream back pain cream has no odor, doesn't burn, and isn't greasy. And it's backed by the empty jar guarantee. Love it or send back the empty jar for a full refund. Find Australian Dream back pain cream now at Walgreens.
Hey, check out this new place to buy things really cheap. It's spelled O-W-L-R-Y. How do you say that? Question mark.
Owlery?
Owlery?
Wow. Oh, really?
Okay, I'm going to say hourly.
Yeah, well, however you say it. It's how Kentuckiana spells big savings. O-W-L-R-Y. Owlery. Owlery. To be continued.
Genesis, Sin, and Training Our Children. This is Ken Ham, who's enjoying Christmas at our Creation Museum. You know, when my children were growing up, I noticed something. They seemed to imitate their mother and me a lot. Yes, we often teach our children more from our actions than from what we might tell them. Now, we read from Genesis chapter 3 that all of us are sinners. We've inherited a sin nature through Adam. Our behaviors reflect this sin nature. Our hearts will often wander from God's word. So Christians need to live like Christ and imitate him. As our children look to us, they should see Christ in our actions. We certainly need to work hard to overcome our sin nature and help children understand this problem of sin that we all have, as taught and recorded in Genesis chapter 3.
Want to learn what Christ has done for us? Visit our faith-building website to find out more about the good news of the gospel at answersingenesis.org.
You're listening to Just Ask Joyce on WFIA, The Spirit.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Kevin Roberts is on board with me. He is a CPA. He is answering your last-minute tax questions. Did you know that according to the infernal, I like to call them, Revenue Service, 20 to 25% of all Americans wait until the last 2 weeks before the deadline to prepare their taxes. Wow. 20 to 25%. That's a fourth of America.
Wow.
That's a pretty big number. Yeah. Folks that wait. And at that late date, there are only two things they can do. Of course, file taxes pronto or request an extension. But did you know that over 70% of tax returns filed before April the 1st receive refunds?
Oh, wow.
That probably doesn't surprise you
now.
No,
it does not surprise me at all.
Wow. 61% of late filers end up owing money.
Of course, yeah.
Because that's why we drag our feet.
Mm-hmm.
Because we just know we're going to, and
that's
it's
right.
just
that's
a debt we don't want to incur. That and each year, approximately 7% of U.S. taxpayers and around 8 million people request an extension. 8 million people.
Wow,
that's a lot of people. So I am going to be one of those because I don't have mine together yet, and I won't because I've got grandkids coming next week. So
oh wow,
and it's just the way it is.
Right.
I'm always I have 6 of them coming. All right, so here's a question. He says, I thought I was keeping a good track of what I owed this year and paying systematically. I'm not sure how or why it happened, but my CPA came up with a whole lot more that I owed. What more can I do to not be taken to the cleaners next year? I held back 35% this year.
Ooh,
that's a lot.
That is a lot. Yeah.
Why? I don't know. I mean, of course, you don't know the circumstances.
Right. We got to look at the circumstances and see.
Something made him owe a lot more, but 35% seems steep.
That's a lot.
I wonder if that's all. If that's IRS and state, and because isn't it a little bit more if it's all of it put together?
Yeah, state's usually about 5 or 6%.
Right.
And you also may be looking at local too. There's if he has a business inside the city, that's 2% possibly. So we got to look at the details and the circumstances surrounding that to figure out if that's reasonable or not. But 35% is a lot of money.
It is a lot.
And that's the second highest tax bracket that that person would be in, and that's.
I wonder if he made more income than he had anticipated.
If you go from different brackets, that could be a reason. Mm-hmm. If you're assuming you're in the 30% bracket and 5% for state example, so you're withholding 35%, but now you jump up to 39% bracket at the highest income level. Yeah, you're going to be under a lot under.
A lot under.
But
is a return like this something that's worthy to maybe? After it's filed or before it's get it and before you sign the dotted line, maybe take it to another opinion or something. I mean, is that
that's always?
I mean, I know that's when you think about biting off one CPA's charge and then adding on another
that's
one
true.
somewhere.
So you're gonna be you're gonna pay twice as
double
much.
Dipping
probably,
with
double dipping. But if you're not comfortable with that, first thing is to probably talk to them. And say, this doesn't, explain this to me. And if he or she did not explain it very well, then you've got an issue. Mm-hmm. You've got a chance to look at it. Have somebody else look at it. We had to pay twice, probably so. But if he or she's not able to explain it to you, that's probably the last year I would go there. To get it done.
Well, for sure.
And then have somebody else look at it. We'll have 10 or 15 of those each year probably where somebody comes in and say, hey, can you take a look at this? Mm-hmm. And we don't find something every time, but, it's a lot of times we do find some things. And
so you do corporate taxes as well for people and of course, personal returns. And but you have this little insurance policy that I really like.
Yeah.
And it's and I know that it costs your clients a little bit, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. But it's if you're looking at a corporate return and a personal return, because it's for both. I mean, once you pay, it's either one.
Well, we only have it for individuals. We don't have the insurance policy for individuals. That's correct.
Not for the corporate.
No, we do not.
Okay. Why? I mean, I'm just curious.
Nobody took us up on it. Well, we had it several years ago, and most people would take us up on individual because we don't deal. Our practice is not a huge corporate practice. We don't have multiple millions of dollars. Multinational companies. Right. I mean, we just don't get exposed to those. And those are the ones that are going to be typically audited. Mm-hmm. And so they would be really wise, and I'd be really foolish to sell an insurance policy on those on those types of returns. But individually we'll insure I wouldn't say insure, but we'll sell that service to any of the individuals that we do. We don't discount.
And so what happens when if they purchase that? What does that cover?
Well, for instance, we'll sell it for every year. So, for example, 2015, we had what's called it's audit protection service. So, it's kind of like an insurance policy just for this particular year. So, if we do your return from beginning to end and we file your return, and so we've gotten all the documents and everything like that. Right. So, we prepared the return, and you eventually get chosen for audit for 2015's return, only 2015. And you purchase that service, then we sit with the audit, the auditor from beginning to end, and there's no charge for that.
Right.
Okay.
And that can sometimes be laborious, I'm sure.
Yeah. We'll have the audit at our place. Mm-hmm. We'll control the information flow, to the auditor, not give them too much. That's one thing you can, mistake you can do. Mm-hmm. Keep them focused on one particular area that they're focused on and try to keep them out of, the whole thing, maybe. Right. That's really the protection that you want. I don't suggest doing it on your own, ever. Right. And so we'll have it all at our place, and which most of the time that's okay. You rarely. Sometimes you'll have a correspondent audit where you just mail them. Yeah. You just mail them what they're requesting. Those are very easy to do. Obviously.
Sure.
They'll look at one or two specific things.
Sure.
So that's basically what the service.
Nobody likes to hear the word audit.
That's true. Yeah.
And I guess there's probably a respectful fear. I will call it fear or anxiousness, angst maybe, that people have for the IRS. Because it typically means what you're going to owe some big money, but but. I don't know that people fear going to jail unless they're like one of those big corporations that you talked about.
Right.
That's
right.
really, or unless you have avoided filing. Now, those come with severe consequences.
Oh yeah,
not?
Non-filing of it is criminal.
It's
in a
criminal.
lot of cases, could be.
And
you want to keep it out of that because that's something you want a tax lawyer for, a tax attorney, and they're going to prosecute in regular federal court. Okay, so then that's big time stuff.
That's
big time
guys.
stuff, and
big time stuff,
and they rarely lose.
I'm sure
on that because obviously
what do you do? You forget? Oh, I forgot to file,
or
it's not going to fly.
Fraud,
much.
Fraud a lot of times goes into criminal. So they find that stuff out through audit. That's how they find those things out.
And then
other than it being just blatant, it could be very, very obvious, and they're just really stupid.
It's worth the insurance.
Yeah,
it's worth the insurance.
At least for the audit.
Yeah, but and I know that sometimes you get behind and you don't want to file because you don't have the money to pay, but don't get yourself locked into that kind of situation. Right. You call Kevin and let him work it out. I think he's already worked out a couple of people already. As a result of this show, who just got behind and then they feared, the worst. And, but there's a way to work those things out, but don't get too far behind. 571-2428. There's still time for one question.
WFIA, The Spirit.
You want to feel connected, informed, included, inspired. So when important things happen, we're here. Your local radio and TV broadcasters. America's #1 source for news, weather, and information on your radio, TV, computer, tablet, and smartphone. We are broadcasters, always here for you, wherever here may be. Tell Washington local stations matter by texting radio to 52886. Furnished by NAB and this station. Message and data rates may apply.
It's like the rebirth the world feels during spring. The new life when there was none, and the hope of real growth and wonder, like the kind of wonder of joy.